Hello everyone, it's Teacher Marianne here from HelloTeacherMarianne.com, and on this channel you'll find videos all about helping you teach ESL online, where I'm bringing you valuable tips, insight, and need-to-know information. In this video series, we're talking about how to stand out as an online ESL teacher so that you can be successful and fully booked working as much as you want to work. How much do parents expect their child to speak in class? How much do they expect their child to hear good speaking? How do they expect you to correct their child? Do they expect small talk? If so, when and how? How is your body language affecting student output? This video covers all of that and more, so stay with me. Before we go any further, please hit subscribe and hit the bell. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. You can grab my free guide to your online classroom setup by going to HelloTeacherMarianne.com. And there you can learn all about the VIPKID hiring process and how I can help you get hired as an online ESL teacher. In Chinese public schools, children do not get a lot of time to practice their English speaking skills. That's why these online ESL classes are so important and so valuable to the parents. Their child gets to practice their English speaking skills one-on-one with a native English speaker. What are parents' expectations when it comes to interacting with their child? How much should you speak? How much should the child speak? The rule of thumb is 50-50. You speak 50% of the time, the child speaks 50% of the time. Now, there are many upper level students who can speak a lot more than 50% of the class time, and that's great. Go with that. You want to bring out all of their English speaking skills, and you want to work on those conversational skills and complex sentence frames and so forth with those higher level students for sure. But at least the very basic that is expected is 50-50. The teacher speaks half the time, the student speaks half the time. The first way to accomplish this is to always respond to the student when they tell you some kind of tidbit or some kind of information. For instance, "Teacher, that's my cat." "Really? That's your cat? What's its name?" "Its name is Leo." "What color is your cat?" "White?" "My cat is white." "I love your cat." The second way that we can make sure that we're interacting with students as much as possible is looking into the camera and really investing in this time, not being so distracted with writing the feedback during class that you're not concentrating on the conversation or at least the exchange that could be happening right now. The third way, build rapport with that student. So if you've got students coming back, or if you just had a student one time and they've scheduled another class, always write something in the teacher-to-teacher feedback to make a mental note of what you can say to that student next time to kind of make a connection. For instance, if the child showed you his cat in the first class, make a note of that. "So-and-so showed me his cat. The cat's name is Leo and it's white." And then I'm going to remember that because I always just check that teacher-to-teacher feedback very quickly before my classes, and I'm going to make a note of that. Ask about his cat named Leo. And so when I see him the next time, I'm going to say, "How is your cat Leo? Where is he? Oh, he's sleeping? Okay." That's a connection. Things like this, it lets the students know that we're actually interested in their lives and in their pets and in their families and what's going on around them. The fourth way is that we always praise the student and encourage just as much as possible throughout the classes. I'm going to show some video examples of how I interact and how I get student output. I'm going to give some examples of a lower level and an upper level in this video. But when we praise and encourage the students, we build the student's confidence. It lets the student know, "Hey, you're doing what I want you to do. Keep doing it. Good job." And that's going to boost their confidence, and they're going to keep producing those types of answers because they really got a positive reaction from you. One thing that I definitely want to say here is don't just always say, good job, good job, good job, awesome, great, wonderful, but actually give meaningful encouragement here. Especially with the older kids, I will say, I like the way you said, I went to the supermarket and bought food with my grandmother, because verb tense is huge when learning the English language, and that is something that students struggle with across the board. So I can always reinforce when I hear it correctly, I love that you said went, I went. Good job remembering. And because a lot of students will say I go, I buy, even if it's past tense. So make sure you highlight what those students are doing well. Just adjust it to their level in a way that they can understand why you're praising them. Okay, so the fifth thing that we can do to encourage student output is to extend the slides that we're on. And I'll show you how this is done in the examples. Just keeping in mind of your time, but extending the slides to a personal question. If the slide is about food, what's your favorite food to eat? Yeah, or what's your favorite color? But extend the slides to a personal question, just quickly, but enough to make it meaningful for them, not just going through the slides, but enough to like kind of build those connections. This is another opportunity to just jot down in the feedback, favorite color, black, favorite animal, lion, just kind of to jog your memory, because you're not going to remember who Brian was after you've taught, over 200 classes that month, if you don't teach him every week. So you're going to need that to jog your memory, and then just oh yeah, he's the one that showed me his cat, or oh yeah, he's the one that likes tigers, and just make that quick connection. Okay, so I've given you 5 things that parents are looking for in the area of interacting with their students. And now this next area I want to talk about is patience. What do parents expect in the area of patience with their child? Can you be too patient? Are you not patient enough? Let's talk about it. VIPKID does not want you to interrupt the student to correct them. So even though if the parent is sitting right there in the lesson and the student makes a mistake, so much of the time the parent is going to cut in and interrupt if that parent knows any English at all. VIPKID does not want the teachers to interrupt the student as they are speaking. They don't want that to interfere with their confidence level. So when we correct, we either circle or underline or just kind of make a little mark by the word if they're reading it, and we wait for them to finish, and then we'll circle the word, draw their attention back to that word, and let's say the word is hungry, then we'll circle the word hungry, and then we'll correct very gently with a smile, very positive, hey, good try kind of attitude, and just circle that word, hungry. Hungry. Great job. And then keep going. Same with an upper level. This you would correct the same way with a student with an entire sentence. You would just underline that sentence and wait until the student is finished with the entire passage, and then just underline that sentence. And let's look at this sentence. My turn, read the sentence fluently. Your turn, and then have that student read that sentence. The same thing goes with questions. If you ask the student a comprehension question and they don't know the answer, there's a couple of ways you can correct. If it's a text that you can go back to, you flip back through the slides and you underline the answer, and then just kind of you've underlined the answer, you're just waiting for them to spot it. And then they'll spot very quickly, oh, that's the answer. She underlined it for me. So you've taught them the skill of going back to the text and finding the answer. Let's say there's a picture of a classroom. You circle it and say, what is it? And they just either stare at you, or they say the playground or the lunchroom. Then you say, a classroom. What is it? Yes, a classroom. Good job. Moving on. One thing that happens often that parents don't care for is when the teacher, we do not give the student enough wait time or think time. So we ask them a question or we ask them to read a list of words. If they don't answer in 1 or 2 seconds, then we correct them. Most often they just need a little more think time. So the rule is like 3 to 5 seconds of think time or wait time will give the student a chance to respond. A lot of my older students will have notes all around their computer, and they have like kind of like little cheat sheets. It's really smart of them, just like cues, like how do I say this sound, or what is this, how do I answer this in the correct sentence structure. And they need to find their cue sheet, and then so that takes a few seconds, but as they're learning, and then the more I ask them the question throughout that lesson and throughout that unit, then by the end of the unit they don't even need to look at that cue sheet or that cheat sheet anymore. They have practiced that sentence frame enough. So give enough think time. It's really important. You also want to have a slower speaking speed. For me, that is no problem. Even I think my parents love my speaking speed, but for all of those that are out there, those of you that do not, maybe you're not from the Deep South and you don't speak as slowly as I do, then you want to really slow it down for these VIPKID lessons or any, ESL online lesson. You want to slow down your speaking speed. They need time to process it. And you can really see this happening in the upper levels. You can see them processing the question. If I ask a question too quickly in the upper levels, then I can ask the question and they're looking at me and it's not registering because I didn't speak slowly enough. And so they try to find the question on the slide so they can read it. Because if they can read it, they can process it better because my speaking speed was too fast. And so maybe I just asked the question of, what do you think are the steps to solving a mystery? And what do you think is the most important step in solving a mystery? Well, that's too fast. Wait, what? What? Slow down. Think about solving a mystery. What do you think are the most important steps to solving a mystery? Okay, there's a lot of difference between that and what do you think is the most important thing about solving a mystery? And then the last thing I want to say about patience and parents' expectations where patience is concerned is make sure you're giving that student your full attention. That student feels like you are really paying attention to him or her. And we do this by looking, again, directly into the camera when they're speaking. We do this by not, kind of rocking back and forth, just waiting for them to speak, or maybe you're rocking back and forth like this, or, we don't have our head on our hand like this, just kind of like chilling out. We're certainly not rolling our eyes or anything like that. We just are intently listening, and I'm always like this, like, can't wait to see what you say. What do you think? And just making sure they know you are invested in them and you're there to help them. If our students don't feel intimidated with our body language, they feel a lot more comfortable to respond, and they even feel comfortable to make mistakes because they know you're going to gently correct them. It's a no judgment zone. Now, the last category I want to talk to you about is teaching. So how can we produce at least 50% of student output in our teaching style? And the first thing is always check for comprehension as you move through the slides. Anytime the slide calls for you or the student to read, stop and check for a quick comprehension. Whether there is a comprehension question on the side of the slide or not, just always make a simple question up in your head, one that's just going to take a few seconds and you can, yeah, you got it. Great, let's keep going and move on to the next slide. Ask open-ended questions, not just yes/no questions. So what's your favorite food to eat? How do you get to school? What's your favorite hobby? What's your favorite indoor hobby? What's your favorite outdoor hobby? Now, a lot of these questions are built into the curriculum, but we can use those questions even if they're not on our slides. We can use questions similar to these. We can build off of those questions. Maybe his favorite hobby is badminton. Oh, who do you play badminton with? Your dad. How often do you and your dad play badminton? Every Sunday? Wow. Always, always, always help them speak in complete sentences. No matter what level you're in, we always want the student to produce a complete sentence. So if the word is mom, good. This is mom. This is mom. Good. From the most basic of sentences like that one all the way up to the higher level sentences, always help the student speak in a complete sentence. That it goes a long way in producing more student output. Okay, repetition boosts confidence levels. It gives them encouragement every time they say it right. I'm giving them a thumbs up. So they're really getting the hang of it. They're feeling confident. They're feeling like they can do the next slide or they can do this lesson well. Every time their confidence is boosted, then I give them a little more freedom to speak on their own because they're feeling comfortable. Minimize incidental language. So I talked about this briefly earlier, but just always minimize that incidental language. Save those precious seconds that you have for each slide for student output rather than them being taken up with your incidental language they're probably not going to understand anyway. Use TPR, use your modeling, help them understand the instructions, and then dive into the content and get that student speaking. Switch roles. Let your student be the teacher. This is so fun, especially with the level. I do it with a lot of my level 3s. I don't know if I've ever done it with a level 2. I have had them ask me, like, what is my favorite, whatever we're working on. And so that is a way that we can switch roles, and the student loves to ask the teacher a question. And then especially level 3 and higher, if there is a slide that will say, okay, the teacher is going to be this character, the student is going to be this character, and they're going to have a little dialogue here. We'll go through the slide as we're supposed to, and then I'll switch it up and say, okay, now you be the teacher. And then the student will read the other portion, the portion that I read at first. And then just other slides, any slide you can turn into you teach me. And especially if there are slides that have questions on them. It's amazing what students will do and what they can ask when we hand them the mic, so to speak, and let them take over for a second. It's really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do in a lesson. Changing the teacher-student roles really does two things. It gives them more practice speaking, so increases that student output, and then it also gives them a clear model of the correct answer, because if they're the teacher, then you are the student, and you are answering that answer perfectly. You're giving that perfect model to seal it in their minds. And the last thing for how to increase student output in the category of teaching is free talk. So at the end of the lesson, on a lot of our lessons, we will have actually a slide that's right before the goodbye slide or the it's time for your enrichment, see you later slide. We will have a slide that says free talk with some pictures. And those are great to take advantage of to just get the student talking. So you can circle one picture and say, what is this? Do you know? And if they'll say the Great Wall, have you ever been to the Great Wall? Yes. When did you go to the Great Wall? Or who were you with? What did you like about the Great Wall? Do you want to go back? You know, you can just extend that one picture alone, or you can circle you could just circle the whole page and say, where is your favorite place to visit? Or have you visited all these places? You know, just take it, just be creative. Usually I'm just looking for that one question that will get the student to answer, that the student has some frame of reference that they can bring to the conversation. And then I'm going to piggyback off that, because usually if that student has had experience, I'm not going to waste time then circling the other pictures. Have you ever been here? Have you ever been here? Have you ever been here? No, I'm going to go to that one where he said yes, and I'm going to extend, tell me all about it, basically. And I'm going to keep asking him questions to bring that speaking out of him. And I don't want to waste those seconds, again, just getting yes or no answers on the other pictures. Okay, guys, so I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to throw in some examples from my classes and just let you see different scenarios where I am getting student output. I'm going to do a lower level and a higher level for you.
What do you see? I see. Yes, Winnie, I see a student. Can you say I? I see a girl student. What classes did you have online today?
I have the Chinese, the math, and the English class today. But
Oh,
the
which?
art class.
Oh, you had art class online too?
Yes.
Oh, what did you do in your art class?
We draw the picture and take and serve it to our teacher.
Okay, so you drew a picture, and did you say took a survey?
Yes.
Oh, okay, wow. What kind of picture did you draw?
I draw an animal.
Oh, I drew an animal.
I drew an animal.
What animal was it?
It's the cat. I love cats.
Oh, you like cats a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like cats too. Do you have a cat?
No, I don't have the cat, but I have 2 turtles.
You have 2 turtles?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Are they little or big?
They are big. I have them 3 years.
3 years? That's a long time to have a turtle.
Yes, when they are very small. When they are very small, they are very cute. But now they are very big.
Yes, they're not as cute when they're very big, right?
Yes.
Get started. The theme of this unit is staying fit. We will be learning about what a healthy life looks like. What things do you do to stay healthy?
I will play the badminton.
Oh, that's a good one. So you can say, I play badminton to stay healthy.
I play badminton to stay healthy.
Oh, I like it. Who do you play badminton with?
I play badminton with my mom.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, you can do this. It could change your life. And I'm your biggest cheerleader. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.